Today, instead of finding out if people are assholes, I guess I'm gonna be finding out if you guys are assholes. Hey babes! Welcome back to Moonbae Crochet. It is Brandy, and today I have a fun video for you guys. So I've been saying for weeks, or probably a month or so, that if you guys have any crochet related stories that you would like to share with me, my inbox is always linked down below. And I actually have 7 crochet story submissions now in my inbox. However, my intro was maybe a little bit misleading because I have said, they don't have to be crazy stories like r/am I the asshole stories, but any sort of story that you feel is worth sharing, whether it's a cute heartfelt story, whether it's just like something crazy that happened, or whether it is something like r/am I the asshole, I am here to take any submissions, and not just about crochet either. Any craft that you are into, I want to hear your stories. And so I have 7 stories in my inbox, so I'm not actually going to read all 7 today. I would like to kind of spread this out a little bit, so I'm going to read I think 4 stories today and then save the other 3 for a future video. But also my inbox is still always linked down below, so if you have a story that you would like to share with me, please feel free to drop it in there. I think it's fun to like get to know each other more as a community, for you guys to hear about each other's stories and for me to read them. It's just so fun. So please don't hesitate to send me anything if you feel like it's even remotely worth sharing. I bet you it is. And also, I was bad about saying this in my last r/am I the asshole video, but at the end of it, I did share a couple of subscriber submissions of finished projects that they had made. I shared one amazing cosplay that somebody made and a crochet wedding dress that somebody made for themselves. They were gorgeous projects, and I actually have some projects to feature at the end of this video, so please stay tuned if you'd like to see those as well. And then sorry for all the yapping, but real quick, in case you are new here, my name is Brandy. I love to do crochet content on here, sharing patterns that I love, giving you gift ideas for different types of holidays or special events, and sometimes reading stories, whether they are r/am I the asshole stories or whether they are your guys' stories. So if any of that content sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, sticking around. I am loving this little community that we're building here, and gosh, at the time of filming we just hit like 2650 subscribers. I'm like, y'all, like, you guys are growing it every single day. Thank you for being here. I cannot stress it enough. I cannot stress it enough. I am obsessed with you guys. Like, thank you. Without further ado, let's hop right into your guys' stories. Okay, so the first story that we're going to be reading today is from a subscriber named Margot, and this was the very first submission I ever got for this type of video. I actually received this video almost a month ago to date. Today is the 7th of May, and I got this submission on the 8th of April. So wow, tomorrow it's going to be a month since I've gotten this one, and I was just saving it, hoping that I would get other submissions so that I could do a video like this. So first of all, thank you so much, Margot, for being the first submission ever, and let's go ahead and read your story. The subject line is a crazy yarn related story. This says, "Hi Brandy. So I have a story that is crochet/yarn related that you are welcome to share. It mostly features my grandma, who could be ridiculous to the point that we remember some of her more crazy moments and laugh. This is one of them. I believe I was 13 or 14. I had learned to crochet maybe the year before. Well, I had decided to make my grandma a pink continuous granny square blanket for Christmas. It took me a few months because back then I was still newish at crochet and not very fast." First of all, Margot, let me interject and just say, I've been crocheting for almost 10 years and I'm still not very fast. So no judgment from me. Well, Christmas comes and we're driving from my mom's parents to my dad's mom, who the blanket is for. They lived about an hour and a half apart and we made good time. A bit of context here though. My dad's mom was Italian, and on Christmas Day, the whole Italian side of my dad's family get together in the late afternoon/evening for a big party. My dad's sister lived closer to my grandma than we did, so her family usually got to my grandma's apartment first. Then we would arrive to do presents. Then my grandma would pack up all her cooking and my aunt's family would take her to the party and we'd meet them there. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, on this particular Christmas, my aunt was late. We got there first by like 20 minutes to half an hour. Not that big of a deal, right? Wrong. We go to the door of my grandma's apartment building. She opens the door and the first words out of her mouth, Yes, I'm upset. See, she liked to get to the party ridiculously early before anyone else got there. And even though it was only like 2 p.m. and things didn't really get started until 5:30, she was mad because, well, she liked to be there between 2 and 3. We tried to calm her down and make her realize she'd still be plenty early. But, well, she was a stubborn woman set in her ways. I know a thing or two about stubborn grandmas who are set in their ways. I feel you. We were able to get her to sit down to open presents. She proceeds to open our gifts to her like the Tasmanian devil, tearing paper in a frenzy, tossing the gifts on the ground, and giving one-word descriptions. Nice. Pretty. Well, this is how she opened my granny square afghan that I had worked on for months, and I have to say, it made young teen me feel pretty deflated. I had worked so hard for her, and I couldn't tell you if she even knew what she was opening. My dad ended up talking to her the next day or something, and luckily, she told me that she really appreciated my gift and that I did a really nice job. For the rest of her life, whenever we visited her, that blanket was sitting out for use. Once she passed, my dad made sure to grab the blanket for us, and we still have it, and I'm 33 now. Now we look at the incident and laugh because it was just so ridiculous. I mean, she was like mad that she wouldn't be the first at the party by hours. That's so silly. So that was a lot longer than I thought it would be. Like you, I'm pretty chatty, and I guess that comes across in my writing too, lol. Feel free to share this in a video if you want. Also, thanks for your awesome videos. I really do enjoy them and I'm always excited to watch them. Have an awesome day, Margot. P.S. I promise I will always spell your name correctly now that you have corrected me. The name Margot can be spelled 3 or 4 different ways and usually gets spelled wrong, so I know how annoying that can be and I'm glad you corrected me. That's so funny because I think one of the first times Margot left a comment on one of my videos, she said, "Hey Brandy," with a Y, and then she put in parentheses like, "I hope I'm spelling that right," and then she left her like nice sweet little comment, and I remember I commented back and I was like, "You didn't spell it right actually," and I told her it was with an I, but I was like, you know what though, most people probably don't know that because it's not written anywhere in my channel. It just says Moonbae Crochet, and I introduce myself as Brandy, but obviously you don't see it in writing. So maybe when I start doing my intros now, I'll be like, "Welcome back to Moonbae Crochet. It is Brandy." I'll have Brandy come down in like shimmering, shiny font. But regardless, wow, that is like a cutesy, funny story. I mean, it is like funny to look back at. Like, I think definitely at the time, as a 13 or 14-year-old, I also would have felt very defeated at that. Like, honestly, right now at this age, I'm about to be 30 in November this year. And I think still, this is why I always say it with me, kids, because I know you've heard it a billion times out of my mouth. Not everybody in your life deserves a crochet gift, okay? Because I think seriously now, even at this age, if I were to give somebody a crochet gift that I worked for hours on, or days, or months, or a year, and I got like a one-word like description like, "Oh, thanks," or like, "Oh, cute," whatever, and like they weren't absolutely adoring it, I would also feel deflated. So I'm totally with you on that, Margot. That's crazy. But I am glad that she ended up coming around and saying like, "Hey, like, you know what? This was a very nice gift." I think probably it was her mood was just set off because plans weren't going according to how she wanted them to, and like, you know, she's an older woman set in her ways. I know a lot about that, so totally get that, but I'm really glad that she did end up saying that she loved it and then she put it out always, and I'm very glad that it's still in your family. That's like awesome. That's like a 20-year-old blanket. Like, wow, that's amazing. And like, clearly you did a great job because it's still holding up to this day. So thank you so much for sharing that with me, Margot. That was such a nice story. I remember when I first got this submission, I just read like the first couple lines. That way I could make sure it was like, you know, one of these stories. And yeah, so I'm really glad I finally got to read that. Thank you. Okay, this next story is from a subscriber named JG. Those are just the initials. I don't know if they want to stay anonymous or whatever, so they did sign it JG, so that's how I'm going to refer to them. The subject line is a common crochet story. They said, "I really enjoy your YouTube content and thought I would share a common crafter/crochet story. Back in December 2023, I crocheted a blanket for my sister as a Christmas gift. It was more of a throw blanket because she is picky about color and design. The blanket was black and white, but not a stark black and white. We live 5 hours from each other, but the one time I was able to visit her apartment, she had put the blanket at the foot of her bed. Fast forward to March 2025. I was visiting my father at my brother's rather rustic cabin. The cabin is halfway between me and my family. When I walked into the cabin, there was the blanket I had made for my sister draped over an easy chair. I was confused. There was only 2 explanations. She either brought it with her on her last visit and forgot it, not likely, or she gave it to him because she didn't really want it. Likely. She knows I visit the cabin several times a year. Did she think I wouldn't notice? I haven't said anything to my sister or brother. Should I just let it go and never give her anything crochet again? Should I say something? It hurt my feelings, but not enough to cause family drama. For clarification, she did not commission this blanket. It was just a gift. Ooh, that's tough. Well, definitely to answer a portion of your question, I probably definitely would not give her anything crocheted ever again. Because what did I just say? Not everybody in your life deserves a crocheted gift. Okay, I will beat that point into the ground. But honestly, if it really hurt your feelings and it's something that you think about often, it's something that you're always reminded of whenever you see her, I would like bring it up, but not in like a crazy, like not trying to start problems way, but like if she's your sister, I feel like depending on your relationship, you should be able to be kind of open and honest and be just like, hey, last time I went to the cabin, I saw the blanket that I made you there. Did you not like it? Like, and maybe just see her reaction. And if she tries to spin it into like a whole drama situation, you can always just kind of take the reins and be like, hey, like, it's no hard feelings. I was just wondering because I saw it there. I was kind of like, oh, I kind of thought, oh, maybe you didn't like it or something. And I was just curious. No big. But if it is something that you feel like will cause drama, obviously you know your sister's personality better than anybody else, so if you feel like it's going to be a situation that is not beneficial, then honestly I would just probably let it go, swallow it, and definitely still, regardless of whether you talk to her about it or not, don't make her anything crocheted again, because no. That's so sad to spend so much time like working on something, giving it as a gift, and then like to see that they gave it away. Like, I would be so hurt. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents on that. All right, this next one has a simple subject line of crochet story. This says, it's not really a question of, am I the asshole? I don't think any argument will make me change my mind here, but my coworker definitely thinks I'm a jerk for it, so I think it works for your series. For some backstory, I am a doctor at a critical access hospital in rural Colorado. We are one of the only hospitals in this part of the state that still delivers babies. It is honestly my favorite part of the job. I love getting to know families throughout the pregnancy and being a part of this huge life-changing moment. As a thank you to families that allow me to be part of their life story, I crochet baby hats for the babies that I deliver. I usually start it after the baby is born and give it to the new mom before she leaves the hospital. Wow. How long do moms usually... Listen, y'all. I am a stepmom, okay, but I've never had a baby. How long do moms usually stay in the hospital? Because, well, it is a baby hat, so I guess it is kind of small, but I feel like that's so quick. That's a quick turnaround time, but still, very cool. Very cool. This is very cute. I'm loving it so far. My patients are always happy to get the hat, and it's a little memento that they get to keep forever to remember how tiny their kiddo was. Recently, one of the labor nurses asked me where the hat was for one of the other babies that was delivered by one of my colleagues, to which I replied that there wasn't one, as I make them for my babies. We are projected to have around 180 babies born at my hospital this year. I am a full spectrum physician, so I see regular clinic patients in addition to my pregnant patients and babies. I also have hobbies like fiber crafts, painting, reading outside of work, as well as making time for my pets and family. I explained to her that if I made hats for every baby, I wouldn't have time for anything else. She got really annoyed by that as I was playing favorite, which duh, of course. Y'all, if I told you how many times I've had to re-record certain lines because I'm stumbling over my words, my tongue is in knots today, absolute knots. Which, duh, of course I have more attachment to a mom I personally care for her whole pregnancy and then delivered. There's a guy with a leaf blower right outside my window. Can you guys hear that? Not the time, my guy. Not the time. I'm not the only provider that does something special either. Another provider has special onesies and collects footprints of the babies that she sends as a card on the baby's first birthday. Anyway, I think it's a nice extra touch to a beautiful moment that I shared with a family. I'm curious about what an outside perspective would be though. Love your channel, Dr. Stitchcraft MD. I love that name, first of all, and I love this story. And if it's a question of whether or not you are the asshole or not, which, in the beginning you did say it's not really a question of that because nothing's going to change your mind here. I'm not trying to change your mind. I think that this is a beautiful thing that you do, and I think it's really dumb and weird and presumptuous for this other physician to be like, okay, well, where's the hat for this baby? Like, what are you talking about? Have you ever seen me crochet something for a baby that I wasn't personally delivering? And then you're telling me another physician in the hospital also does something special, sort of, like not the same thing that you're doing, but something like that for their personal patients. If that physician that delivered that baby wants to do something special, then they can come up with their own thing. So I completely agree with you. I'm an outside perspective, but I don't have a differing opinion than you. I think that makes total sense. You're going through this journey and you want to create something special for this mom and this baby that you have cared for the entirety of this journey that they've been on. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. That is so gorgeous and incredible. And I love that. There absolutely need to be more doctors like you out there. And you have a lot of like extracurriculars outside of such a demanding job like healthcare. So bless, you are doing God's work. All right, the last story that we're going to be reading today has the subject line, Crochet, am I the asshole / positive story? So it might be 2 stories in one. They say, hi Brandy, I love your readings of Am I the Asshole stories. I recently subscribed as well. You can refer to me as Clara in the YouTubes, lol. Here is a current Am I the Asshole that happened to me. Backstory you can share. I took up crochet about a year ago during a mentally difficult time. I shared some of my creations with family and friends. A cousin, Joey, asked if I could make him some scarves. No problem. He paid for the material and agreed that I would charge a bit extra for the work that goes into making it / buying the time to make it when I could be doing something else, housework, night out, etc. He got them and loved it. I had to ship it because he wouldn't come pick them up. I would have dropped it off at his brother's if I needed to. Here's the bit you were waiting on. He reached out and sent me 2 pictures of crochet flower bouquet blankets. Oh my gosh, I just recently discovered flower bouquet blankets. My best friend sent me a TikTok of somebody that made one. And first of all, it looks like a ton of work, but they look so gorgeous. I'm like, oh my God, I might have to do that for my mother-in-law this Christmas because especially the one that I saw, it was like a white blanket with purple flowers all around the edge, and it just looks so beautiful, and my mother-in-law's favorite color is purple, so I'm just like, I might have to do that. They were big blankets and roll up into full arm red rose flower bouquets. The text says, hey buddy, make me this, and he attaches the pictures. That's it, nothing else. I don't think I was the asshole, but I think he was rude for not saying hi or even a please / thank you. Not even a please / thanks. I would consider this as some sort of courtesy. I showed my roomie and he was surprised at the curtness of it. I told roomie, I'm not going to do it. He didn't ask. It's a huge project and there are other projects currently in the works. Which is true. I have a commission job and I'm still working on some fun stuff for me. Sweaters, skirts, tops, whips, and next projects. I went back to Joey and replied after I had calmed down a few days later. I texted, hey, thanks for the pics, but I'm not taking on additional projects right now. I have not heard back about it, nor a hi buddy since, but Joey isn't much for active communication, which is fine. We're still on good terms. He just lives very far away from me since he has moved. Yeah, no, you're definitely not the asshole for like not taking on such a crazy project, especially like yeah, I definitely agree, especially if this isn't somebody that you communicate with super regularly. I expect the bare minimum to be like a, hey, how are ya? Do you think you could make this? Not just, hey, make me this, That's weird. Now they say, a good story below. I posted a pillow cover I made for a friend with the crochet blanket stitch and my sis loved it. She said I was very talented and asked if I could make her some colorful queen-size pillowcases in that stitch. So, I'm 3/4 of the way done. Of pillowcases 33 by 22 inches. Pillow queen size is 20 by 30 inches. So I made them bigger so it's easier to put the pillows inside. I'll share when I'm done. She has been very nice in not rushing it. I told her work was busy crunch time, and I have to take breaks to not hurt myself as it's a bigger project. She said whenever is good, no rush. So I'm making one of the essence of her cat, and one of a lake picture she took on the trip. I too can't wait to be done and get all that yarn out of here, lol. It's in blanket yarn as well, so it takes up a good amount of space in my tiny closet. I can't wait for her to receive it and get her thoughts. Thanks, Clara. Oh, well, that's cool. I like it when people are very patient. Like, I have been working on a Pokemon order for months at this point. I think I'm going on 3 months now. I was supposed to have it done at the beginning of April. Some things got delayed, and then I ended up not just being able to finish it in a good amount of time. So we're already I mean, we're done with the first week of May and I'm still not done with it, and it's killing me. I mean, I am on my last one, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get this out of here. And I'm really glad that the person that I'm making it for also is not rushing me. It feels good when somebody's like that, but also at the same time, it's like it's kind of weighing on you. Like, you want to get it done. You just, you know, you feel kind of bad or whatever for making them wait, but it is really nice when people are patient. It's always nice to be able to do crochet work for somebody who is super understanding and flexible and all that good stuff. So for now, those are all the stories that I'm going to be reading for today. Again, if you have your own story that you would like to share with me, please do not hesitate to reach out. My email is always linked down below. Just send me whatever you got. Good stories, crazy stories, bad stories, whatever. And so now I'm going to take a few moments to share some projects that have been shared with me. So this project here is from a subscriber named Michelle. She went to a Renaissance fair and she crocheted herself a mushroom hat, little mushroom earrings, and even the little belt that she's wearing, it's all crocheted, and it is so gorgeous, giving very cottagecore, very like hobbit hole, you know. I love it. I love it. Also, their username is Mavknits, and they do have a YouTube channel, which I will link down below in case anybody is interested in checking out their content. From the brief conversations I've had with her, she's super duper friendly, super amazing. So if anybody is interested in going and checking out her channel, I will leave it down below. But yes, can we all just like admire the mushroom? It's just so cute. This project here was submitted by a subscriber who would like to stay anonymous, which is perfectly fine with me. They crocheted themselves a little like bag to hold their water bottles for when they go on walks. They did say that they ended up making the strap a little too short, so they're probably going to end up making some extra straps and then just sewing them on. But I think it's such a pretty yarn color, and like that's such a cute idea, like just a bag for your water when you go on your hot girl walks, you know. I love that. Such a vibe. Oh my gosh, and this one I just barely saw yesterday. I think they sent it... Oh, they did send it yesterday. So, can I just say, this person's name is Hannah, and they prefaced it by saying, my project is not nearly as impressive as some. First of all, Hannah, this is one of the cutest things I've seen in my entire life. She crocheted this, like, Jester Kitty. I'm a cat girl. I think you guys know I'm a cat girl. Or if you didn't know, now you know. I'm a cat girl, okay? I love cats, and I'm not really into like clowns and stuff, but something about the pastel colors here is so working. It is so adorable. And because Hannah is lovely and not a gatekeeper, she actually did tell me that the pattern is from Lavender Loops Crochet. So if anybody's interested in trying out that pattern, I would highly recommend it, because look at how beautiful Hannah's came out. I love it. By the way, those safety eyes, she said she hand painted those. And I am so in love. Like, do you see the detail there? So thank you so much, Hannah, for submitting that and putting yet another project on my to be crocheted list. You know how like book talk people, or like people who are really into reading, have a TBR? I'm gonna have to start making a TBC, okay, to be crocheted list. But anyways, thank you all so much for sending me your projects. Like I said, I don't care if they are works in progress, if they are finished projects, if they are projects that you made way in the past, if they are projects that you would like to make in the future, and just simply ideas. And they don't even just have to be crocheted. They can be knitted, they can be cross-stitched, they can be scrapbooked, whatever it is that you're into. Please feel free to share them with me. I love seeing your guys' work. It is so fun. Like I said, I do have a few more submissions in my inbox. So if you haven't heard your story yet, don't worry, it will come. But I am always on the hunt. So if you have something that you'd like to share with me that you have not yet submitted, please feel free to drop it in my inbox. That way I can continue this little series, continue sharing what you guys got going on. I love it. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. I truly appreciate you always leaving all your lovely comments, your likes, your subscribes. You guys are truly the best. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day, week, month, night, whatever you're having. Please enjoy yourself, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.